So what you are looking at is you're looking at the first 4 pumpers of an order of 11 engines. So I have an 11 engine order, so I still have 7 in the balance. I just went through and had a meeting with my chief about a week ago where I'm gonna order another 9, exactly the same. So if that brings it up, because of the Waterous support, because of everything it stands for, that's 20 Waterous pumpers or pumps that are going into my engines. My name is William Sayre. I'm the Fire Apparatus Fleet Manager for the Contra Costa County Fire Department. And I originally got into this through my dad. I'm a second generation, been doing it all my life, 32 years in the fire service. My dad started out in '79 at a company in Fremont where we actually kind of developed fire apparatus service. And it was just always something that I loved as a kid, always loved, being around fire engines and stuff. And it just, chip out the old block and just trying to live up to the expectations that my dad earned, and take his legacy and, create my own. So Contra Costa County, as we keep growing, is recognized as a fire service leader in one of the largest states. We provide fire rescue emergency services to 750,000 residents across 11 cities and 10 unincorporated areas across 553 square jurisdiction miles. In 2022, we provided more than 80,000 transports through our ambulance service because we also partner with EMR. Our target hazards range from high-rise buildings in Walnut Creek and downtown locations, multiple urban interface, which we have Mount Diablo and adjacent mountains, which kind of border over into the Oakland Hills. So we really cover a large range, everything from city where a pumper would be used to urban interface where we're dealing with wildland type apparatus. We're dealing with bulldoze apparatus and even waterways. We actually have multiple swift water rescue boats and 2 even rescue helicopters. So we cover quite a bit in Northern California, the Bay Area with Contra Costa County Fire. Total fire apparatus I'm responsible for is about 150 throughout 11 Bay Area cities. They're gonna range from the Type 1 pumper. I also run quite a few of the Type 34, similar to the CAL FIRE, as well as Type 5s, Type 6s. And then we have a fleet of straight trucks, a fleet of tiller trucks, and a couple quints left over from the early 2000s. We also run 2 heavy-duty rescue vehicles, a command vehicle, and we actually oversee 2 hazmat control response vehicles. So we cover everything from pumpers to helicopters and bulldozers. It literally, every firefighting aspect you can think of, we cover it in Contra Costa County. Well, I tell you, it's like, just like everybody, we're doing more with less nowadays. We're running more calls, more frequent, have less people to do it. When I was coming in, years ago, there was a lot of excitement to go, and be a fireman or, go provide a community service. And we're just not seeing the responses that we had, back in the early days. We used to have, back when I started, lists of 5,000 candidates. Now we're having trouble just getting candidates to come in that really want to do this type of work. I don't know if it's just the changing of the generations, the things that, we are more, our youth are more kind of looking into wanting to do, doesn't necessarily go along with firefighting, or doing the things that I do, which is, understanding how they work in building them versus, fixing them and maintaining them. When it comes to the fire engines, well, if you take a look at this fire engine, you compare it to one, say, built 20 years ago, I will just simply say, go look at your car built 20 years ago and then compare it to one that you just pulled off the lot. All of this stuff that you see on this thing takes a very skilled, qualified technician in order to work on these things, where back in the old days, the old mechanical type of stuff it was a lot easier to work, or excuse me, a lot easier to fix. However, the training involved wasn't as extreme and critical. So it's like the candidate pool for fire service and more than anything, fire technicians is just shrinking, and it's just, unfortunately, something we still very much need. And that's a hurdle that I run across every single day. The way that I do my job is I think, you know what if it's your house that's on fire? What if it's your car? Or more importantly, what if it's someone that matters to you? You know what? When I pull up to a scene, or when my guys pull up to a scene, I want them to know that, you know what, I'm gonna pull up at a scene, I'm gonna gauge a pump, and I'm gonna really be able to rely upon it as if it was important to me, as if it was someone that mattered to me. And that means everything to me in this industry, and it should mean everything to everybody. It's like, this is your heart and soul of this engine. If you get onto a scene of a fire and go, hey, sorry, this thing doesn't work, and someone is in there that you care about, no, I'm not okay with that, and I want the best damn pump that I can get, and this is one I believe in for all the reasons I expressed. I've gone through 5 generations of engines just trying to create a pumper that I can say, you know what, stamp it, send it to the bank, and really not have to do a pre-construction. Really got it right, and I feel like I got it right. My cherry on the top for my pumper was, quite honestly, Waterous pump. When you look at the pump housing or just the pump itself, you can actually just see that someone looked at it and goes, you know what, we got a really good idea. How can we make it better? Even in the pump housing, you look in the pump housing compared to what I had before, you managed to get the same GPM pump and take up like maybe half of the pump housing compared to what I've seen before. How does that help me? Well, over time, plumbing leaks. You need to replace elbows. You need to get in and replace flow meters and sensors and things like that. Well, trying to call in through that space and trying to get to those things is a lot more difficult than it seems if you actually done it. Well, Waterous makes it easy for me. But even that, after 32 years, I've always known that Waterous creates a quality product. But that's not enough sometimes in the fire service when I was spec'd with a different type of fire pump, and that's what I inherited. What I wanted more than anything was I wanted a product that I could stand behind. And that was demonstrated to me through you. It was not only that Waterous makes a great product, superior, obviously, to the one that I was using. It's literally the comfort that I can pick up the phone, call Waterous and say, look, I've got a problem with your pump that I need to get solved. And I'm not dealing with someone from a corporation, I'm dealing with a person who cares, who stands behind the product and says, Mr. Sayre, we're gonna make this right for you. So every time we do an annual service, as everybody knows, we'll get the rubber gloves out there and we'll put it on the discharge valve and we'll run a dry vac, and if it sucks the glove, you got a leaky valve. Well, leaky valves are a pain in the butt to get to because those leaky valves are in here somewhere. So trying to get in there and get that valve apart to overhaul and rebuild it, it's hours and hours and hours of time that I don't have. So really, to be able to have the ability to kind of depend on a Waterous discharge valve to where it's gonna sustain its life throughout hopefully the life of the vehicle, it's just one less thing that I have to worry about. That's as simply as I can put it. It's a win-win. I would tell them we come from the same place. I have empathy for everything that you deal with. I have empathy for all the hurdles that you come across. And if I was to talk to you and we went over those same things, I would say you would make the same decision that I made for the same reasons that I made.